So, oh, get out the way, Batman. Although I will be talking about you. Right. So, this week we're going to talk about, well, because I've already said how I am really looking forward to Alien Isolation, which is, I think, October the 9th, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, it's coming out in October, and obviously it's based off the 1979 video game. Sorry, the video game is based off the movie. So, what I wanted to really touch on this week is, and you know, I'm sort of crossing the lines here and everything, but I just think it's appropriate this week because I just wanted to basically give my opinion on the video game tie-ins across various, you know, not just movies but also TV shows. I've got a stack here of various things to try and explain mostly negative points, but there are some positives, and it will lead into something which I'll announce at the end. So, of course, the reason why everybody is apprehensive, at least in recent years, because of video game adaptations based off movies, is Aliens. Aliens Colonial Marines. We've talked about it enough. The game was not what it should have been in terms of its presentation, and it was very glitchy and buggy. But, you know, if you take aside from that and all the attention and the false publicity, it's an okay game. And the sad thing is, that's the majority of the situation that goes on with these movie games. They're just okay. And they really shouldn't be. They should be, you know, really exceptional. Because you've got the hype of the movie and the hype of, well, the hype of everything. So, first case in point, I guess in terms of, I don't know whether you want to have it as like a Phoenix Wright thing and prosecution, defense or whatever. Probably not. I guess I wanted to say Phoenix Wright, I don't know. But first, and we're going to TV here, is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, in essence, what these games have always been, and really any games that have been based off quiz shows, is they've really just been the equivalent, arguably, of DVD games. You know, there's plenty of ones that come out. Certainly there was a spate of them over here in the UK, at least. You had a Deal or No Deal game, you had a Family Feud game. You pretty much had one every year for about 7 straight years for a time around early to the mid 2000s, right through to a few years back. And yeah, in essence, that's what it really is. You've had various spin-offs and everything, but you know, it's faithful to the form and everything, but it's just, I know it's a draw because I think either the first game originally or the Junior Edition or this, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Christmas #1 game over here. My only problem is and admittedly this game is 13 years old, but I don't know how many people have you seen Chris Tarrant or pictures of him. Google, if you Google pictures, you'll be able to see. Take a look at the artwork for the game as the light shines off it. That's brilliant. Yeah, that is what he looks like. Now, to me, I know we're obviously not going on next-gen graphics here, but it looks like something's wrong with his face. Because if you look at images from around 2000, 2001, he doesn't look like that. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't look... It's sort of when I've seen Kevin Spacey in those Call of Duty things, I'm like, that is, but really isn't Kevin Spacey, because it's just weird in terms of face. And I will say this, some effort was put into this, unlike a few others. First up, because I want to mention this one first and get it out of the way, the good old lovable franchise from, well, I better not show the game first, I better show you the company that made it. Davalex. Hang on. Oh, no, I think he's revealing himself. Yeah. Knight Rider the game. This cost me £1. The reason why I wanted to get it is because it's considered one of the worst games ever made. And this has apparently been a trend for Davalex, because they also did it with Miami Vice and absolutely butchered that. Another one arguably is Charlie's Angels, but okay, that was the version tied into the reboot of the series, so it's not exactly the same. But anyway, this was just utter... Basically, the essence was, if you play through the missions, it's about a 3 or 4 mile barren section of road. And the first mission is go up this road to go to a certain place. Then the next mission is come back down that same road, but go past where you started and go to another place. Then you go up the same... Apparently, it's pretty much only one road in the entire game, which I'm pretty sure they didn't do that in the actual TV series. And it's just really not very well put together. Same goes for the Miami Vice one. And certainly, when you have games like this that are brought out, and just because of the nostalgia factor, it just, most of the time, isn't going to work. Case in point, recently, a game came out on PC. I think it's come out on consoles as well, but I don't remember. Called Kick-Ass 2. Yes, the Kick-Ass 2 official tie-in to the movie that came out 18 months ago and came out on DVD 12 months ago. Is that supposed to be relevant? But other ones, Charlie's Angels isn't a fair one, but really that had absolutely nothing to do with the plot of the original, from what I remember from the movies. It was an original story, which, by original we mean rubbish. Just taking, I'm trying to think, there was quite a few others. Yeah, Fast and Furious. That came out on... Yeah, Fast and Furious 6, I think, came out for PS3 and 360 last year. Despite the fact the game it was based off, Fast 5, was, I think, 2000 and... Oh, no. No. Yeah, I think it was the game it was based off was Fast Furious, or Fast 4, which was 2009. Really up to date, kids. Really up to date. And that's one of the main issues. When you take something that doesn't need to be really told in, as cheesy as Knight Rider was, it's actually pretty enjoyable as a TV series. As a game, oh, I nearly went on the floor. I'd have been the best place for it. And then we get the one which is the bugbear of parents, grannies worldwide, the animated movie tie-in. This is Activision Shark Tale. Of course, we know how infamous these sort of things are. I mean, especially this doesn't, well, yeah, you get to apparently fight sharks, go into racing stuff, adventure, which is basically a combination of all three things, and of course there's dance stuff. You know, this is a dance game which I think it doesn't say dance mat compatible, so I'm guessing it's just button presses. But this was the thing that always sold for these games companies. But arguably, we know this is a bad thing, because who was the big one of the guys that did this sort of thing? A little company called THQ. I know the name exists now, but the company doesn't. The name is just used by Nordic Games. So easy there, sunshine. Easy. Yeah, these sold relatively well, which is sad because, of course, these would have been $60 at the time. This, again, cost me the equivalent of about $1. Brilliant, isn't it? And just these games were critically mauled because they were basically just rinse and repeat. The only one that I think that was an animated movie tie-in that really worked, because it didn't just go for sort of like an action-adventure style approach, like most of them have. Thinking off the top of my head, well, no, Incredibles was good, which I can't remember if that was THQ, but certainly Bolt wasn't brilliant. Over the Hedge didn't get very good reviews. More often than not, you know, animated stuff doesn't work. Pretty sure there was a Megamind game. I think it came out. I don't know. The Madagascar, certainly the second game didn't get very well responded to. Anyway, but it wasn't, of course, not just left to the animated movies. You've got to have the live action stuff as well, like Zephora. Yeah, the sequel to Jumanji. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. And thank God you weren't in this film. Because, well, no, actually, I take it back. The film is pretty good. The game based off the film, utter rubbish. And this is 2K. This is 2K. This, you'd have thought, would have been good. You know, 2K, they don't normally... And they were the other main offenders of doing movie-based video games for quite a bit. And yeah, it really is not very well presented. Again, got very negative critical reviews, and yeah, it just really stank. Also, yeah, not only The Mummy Returns, which I haven't got here, but was rubbish, but in order to tie into the third film, they decided to have Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Also, I've just noticed this, and I might as well show it here. What happened to Jet Li's face? Seriously. It looks like he's had a stroke. And this, you know, Mummy Returns was notable for not being very good at all. This got relatively average to bad reviews. I mean, this is the PS2 version. I'm pretty sure it came out in the PS3 and 360 as well, but it just isn't really good. And when you have things that tie in to movies, obviously you're looking for those iconic moments in the movies to be incorporated in. And realistically, with this and all these other movie tie-in things, more often than not, they're given a basic idea of what happens. You know, they aren't actually allowed to see the movie because it's all kept top secret and everything. But, yeah, it's just not good. And then, you know, if we're getting to the bottom of the bottom, licensed stuff. So this is obviously Disney's Sing It, except that shoehorn in, this is a High School Musical 3, which thankfully actually is a movie. It's not, the first two were TV movies, this was an actual cinema release, at least in the UK. And I'm pretty sure it was a cinema release in America as well, because it did well. But in essence, what is this? It's a SingStar game. Mainly because it required SingStar microphones. And you had quite a bit of this. Disney had quite a few of these. Admittedly, the sing-along with Disney one is actually pretty cool, because that's when you get some of the classic animation songs. But some of the modern stuff, just no. You sort of, it wasn't really a movie tie-in, but one that I actually do enjoy. One of the games, which I don't think many people played, was Disney Extreme Skate Adventure for PS2 and I think GameCube and Xbox. And basically the format of this was, take the engine from Tony Hawk's 4 and put Disney characters with it. Put Toy Story 2 characters, Lion King characters, and the other one was, if I can remember off the top of my head, Tarzan, that's it. Along with kids that won the chance to be in the game. And all look very punchable. That's a fun game, but the thing is, when you look at things like this, you basically shoehorn licenses onto other stuff. Case in point, and this is more prominent on the mobile stuff, the mobile app for Disney's Frozen is Candy Crush Saga. You know, in essence, you're just taking a game and reskinning it. Don't think there's anything else off the top of my head that I can think of. And then, actually, I thought of another genre of video game based off movies. The ones that don't need to exist. Yes. I've just realised I had it up here and I only just caught it out the corner of my eye. Shutter Island, the video game. Oh, sorry. The adventure game. You know what adventure stands for? Wait for it. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if we'll be able to get it on the camera. Probably not. Hidden object. Yeah. Those hidden object games that you variously get. Actually, one up here from the television series over here in the UK, Coronation Street. It is just, they are abysmal. Because you're basically just using that name and the Coronation Street name and whatever to say, buy this, it's going to be really good. Thankfully, I didn't get this full price. This, I think it was about £20 or £30 originally. I think I paid £4 for it, mainly because I enjoyed Shutter Island. Featuring characters as seen in the movie. Their voice talents? No, because they knew it was crap. But don't get me wrong. No, I've gone through bad ones. Let's go slightly up to ones that I enjoyed. And some people will probably go crazy at me for this, but I enjoyed Jackass the game. I know a lot of people didn't, but in essence, this sort of is what you want it to be. It's the equivalent of Mario Party, just with the Jackass license. And Jackass-related stunts. You obviously had single-player sort of solo things. But all the multiplayer stuff, like having the bumper cars on top of the roof and smashing your friends off, that's actually fun. I'm trying to go through some of the other ones. The golf cart racing. Admittedly, the ones were quite a lot of racing related things that were multiplayer. Bikes, riding. Yeah, pretty much most of it was racing stuff. But it was fun just because it was so wacky. Like, you're riding down a mountain on a fridge, or you're riding down San Francisco streets on a unicycle, or a trolley, you know, a supermarket, Walmart trolley or whatever. And you know, it was something that you could just pick up and play and not really have to focus on, and just get a kick out of, you know, seeing these people maimed and injured. Which wouldn't happen in real life, because I'm pretty sure some of the things that happen there would hurt. It was just pretty awesome. Another one that's pretty awesome, and this is weird because this is a Sega game, Incredible Hulk. Admittedly, the one based not off the movie, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, is really good. Mainly because, and I couldn't find it, so I couldn't really go into the talk I wanted to go about in terms of this. But this is the first of where I want to talk about the good games. This, in essence, itself isn't brilliant. But the concept behind this started with, I'd say had started with a little game by the name of Spider-Man 2, which is recognized by many as being probably the best video game adaptation of a movie, because it had the original stuff but also incorporated the big moments from the movie itself. It came out in or around release date, I think, of the movie or the DVD release. And it had, most importantly as well, unlike some of the other games that I went through, the actual voice talents. And you know, it had Alfred Molina, it had Tobey Maguire, it had Kirsten Dunst. Can't remember if it had anybody else, but it certainly had the key characters. Actually similar for the first one, which wasn't as well received. But, you know, it had Willem Dafoe, it had Tobey Maguire, and, you know, Spider-Man 3 wasn't good, because it pretty much was the same as Spider-Man 2. Just with a story of a film which wasn't as well received, hence why I don't think the game got as well received. But it was really that sort of open worldness that you wanted to be. It's like you always aspired to be a certain character. You know, even for, I think it was Predator. There was a Predator Concrete Jungle game that came out. No, you know, nothing to do with Aliens vs Predator or any of the Predator movies, because it wasn't released at the same time. But the whole idea was, you are the Predator, you're in this city, do what you want. And those sort of open world games have always been the most appealing. Sort of going away from video game, movie related stuff. That's the reason why the first two Destroy All Humans were so good. It's open world, it's letting you get away with all these things because you wouldn't be able to do them in real life. I don't think there's any movies around me that sort of channel that essence. Oh no, there is one. The Warriors. That was probably good, mainly because it's Rockstar. But that, in essence, was the same thing. It was that sort of open world, choose your battles, and get into it. Another really good one, although I can't say this one ultimately for this format, was X-Men Origins Wolverine. This sometimes is the really cool thing about these games. You know, occasionally you get the really rubbish movie and the really good game. This is one of them. You know, you most often get good movie, bad game, and then also bad movie, bad game as well, as a combination. But it's very rare that the actual video game adaptation is arguably better than the movie. Now it says here, because I can't remember the details of it, it's a unique adventure developed exclusively for the PlayStation 2. I know for a fact that the engine behind this obviously couldn't be on next gen and vice versa. So that might be why, but certainly it didn't get great reviews from the critics, but the fans voted really with sales. I don't think it sold dramatically well, but those that actually played it realised it was actually fun. It was something which was what the movie wasn't really. You know, it had the voice of Hugh Jackman and some of the major characters in the game. I don't think it had Ryan Reynolds, I don't remember. But in essence, that was it. You were letting the game actually go beyond the hype. And, you know, a couple of other examples in terms of good games. The likeness and voiceover used, of course, key again. And, yeah, Chronicles of Riddick. This is Escape from Butcher Bay, which, yeah. This is set before the event. So this was supposed to be the sequel to Pitch Black, but the prequel to everything that happened in Chronicles of Riddick. And this game was really fun and really good. It's a shame it was an Xbox exclusive. I know it came out on PC, but in terms of consoles, and oh look, Sierra. You just recognise that. Well, considering how they're back, I think it's only fair. So, this wasn't Activision. Okay, it was Universal. So I guess Activision must have bought it then. So that's only just dawned on me as I'm making this video. Brilliant. But yeah, really good. Just really, again, channeling the essence of the movie perfectly. You know, doing the stealth, having to do it, but then when needing to, going all out action. And then, probably my favourite, in terms of getting it right, in terms of arguably movies, comics, television stuff, Lego stuff. Hell, the game adaptation of the Lego movie is awesome. Well, that would be, because everything is awesome. But, you know, this was really well received. A lot better well received than the official tie-in from Activision. I mean, arguably the reason why this was well received is because it was Giant that was working on it, and most notably Telltale. Telltale know how to do stuff. Funny how I mentioned that. But anyway, we'll get to that. It just was really, really fun. And the fact is, okay, there was no voiceover stuff because they couldn't really license it, and because this was really seen as a gamble. All the other previous Lego things, like Lego Racers and Bionicle and all that, really hadn't really been as successful with the Lego franchise as it had. This was suitable for the kids. Ow, as it bashes me in the face. Suitable for the kids, but in essence told you what happened in episode 3. And I think this got released certainly in the UK like a week before the movie came out. So in essence, you could see the movie in Lego comedy sort of style form before you actually saw the film. The sad thing is, the video game adaptation of this is probably better than certainly elements of episode 1, 2 and 3. Because again, you're taking the actual good bits of the thing. Okay, you had to play as Jar Jar Binks for a bit, but aside from that, this was fun, this was accessible to all, and that's why this worked. Let's hope we have more of this from Alien Isolation, rather than any of this. Right, that's my lot for this week. But I'm coming back over the next few weeks with, I guess, a sort of mini-series. This will be touching on 4 games, which I think people may not have played that much. I'd say these are hidden gems. Off the top of my head, I'm going with a multi-platform one, a old school one, a new school one, and a very, very quirky one. I'll leave it up to you as to what order you think they're going to come. But, yeah, next week, ironically, the first one is a movie tie-in. But, unlike the majority, this was really fun. And the sad thing is, I never got to play it until probably 10 years after the thing came out. And I'll tell you why I was angry about that next time.